Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I'm the Group 6 members to report or discuss about Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. On April 24, 1921, Gabriel Okara was born in Beaumonde, Yunaga local government area of Bayelsa State. He attended Government College, Umamia, and Yaba Higher College, Lagos. He worked as a printer and bookbinder and started writing scripts for radio during this time and translating poetry from Aiju to English. Later, he would attend Northwestern University in the United States, where he studied journalism. Gabriel Okara was a novelist and poet. His first novel, The Voice, published in year 1964, was experimental and said to be a direct translation from Aiju. He was the first Nigerian writer to be published in the influential journal Black Orpheus. Okara worked as information officer for the former Eastern Nigerian Civil Service. He was appointed director of the Rivers State Publishing House in Port Harcourt in year 1972 and remained in the position for 8 years. Okara's writings have been translated into several languages and won significant awards. He has been referred to as the Nigerian Negritudes. The Gabriel Okara Literary Festival in year 2017 was held in Port Harcourt. In his honor, some of his works are The Call of the River, Nun, poem 1950, The Boy's Novel, year in 1964, The Fisherman's Invocation, poems, year 1978, A Little Snake and Little Frog, children's, year 1981, An Adventure to Jojo Island, children's, year in 1992, The Dreamer, His Vision, poems, year in 2005, As I See It, poems, year in 2006, and the last is The Piano and the Drums Collective, poems, year in 2016. So the most awards of Gabriel Okara based all around entry in poetry at the Nigerian Festival of Arts for The Call of the River, Nun, na year of 1953, Commonwealth Poetry Prize for The Fisherman's Invocation, year in 1979, LNG Prize for The Dreamer, His Vision, 2005, Pan-African Writers Association Honorary Membership Award of Year.
Hello everyone. So for those who do not know me yet, my name is Gabriel, and before we are going to discuss the poem entitled Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara, let us unlock first the difficult words. So here are some of the difficult words that we have found in the poem. So first is conforming, complying or following established rules or norms. Cocktail face, a face or expression put on for social events or parties, or wearing another set of face expression. Next is muting, suppressing or silencing, or from the root word mute. Good riddance, expressing relief at someone's departure or removal. Next is bored, feeling uninterested or weary. Next is unlearned, to forget or let go of knowledge or habits. Next is mirth, amusement, laughter, or joy. Now, we are going to discuss about the poem entitled Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. So in the first stanza, it becomes clear that the speaker is the father or the grandfather of the child referred to as son. He is the speaker of this piece and describes the lack of compassion in modern times. He begins his story by talking about how they used to laugh wholeheartedly. Now in the second stanza, the speaker creates another contrast by portraying the custom of shaking hands. There was a time indeed when they used to shake hands with their hearts. It means there was a warmth of happiness in their heart. Now, in the third stanza, it describes another humorous incident that occurred with the speaker. He says when he visits his relatives, they welcome him by saying feel at home. But his frequent visits made them so annoyed that the third time he finds their doors closed on him. In the fourth stanza, the speaker tells his child that he has learned many things. The most important thing is that he learned to imitate others, or he learned to imitate faking of emotions. Now, in the fifth stanza, the ideas of the first stanza, smiling with teeth and shake hands with heart, reappear in this stanza. Previously, the speaker criticized such attitudes. Now he shaped himself in society's order. And in the sixth stanza, however, the speaker is not relieved even if he has learned the art of faking emotions. He expressed his desire to go back to the past when everything was simple. Now we are going to discuss about the elements of the poem. First is meter. It is written in free verse because each line have different number of words. And next is rhyme scheme. There is no consistent rhyme scheme in the poem. So, as we can see or as we can read in the poem, in the first stanza, there is no rhyme words there. In the second stanza, there's only one rhyme words there, the hearts and pockets. We can see it in line 2 and line 6. In the third stanza, there is also one rhyme words there, the twice and the thrice. So we can see it in line 4 and line 5. In the fourth stanza, there are two rhyme words there, the faces and smiles. We can see it in line 2 and line 5. Home face and host face. We can see it in line 3 and line 4. And in the fifth stanza, there is no rhyme words there. And the last in the sixth stanza, the rhyme words there is things and fangs. We can see it in line 4 and line 7.
Good day. Now let's proceed to another element of the poem, verse. The verse refers to a specific section or line of the poem. It represents a division of thoughts or ideas within the poem. So, in verse, each line can be considered a separate verse. The poem consists of multiple short verses that flow together to create the overall narrative. Now, in first stanza. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. That's one verse. The second verse is, but now they only laugh with their teeth while their eyes, black cold eyes, search behind my shadow. The first verse before, they laughed by heart. They laughed genuinely. But now, on the second verse, they laugh by their teeth only. That's fake smile, or when they laughed, they're trying to search behind the shadow of the speaker. Who's this man? Who's this person? Can I benefit something from this person? Next is symbol. The symbols used in the poem include the mask, which represents the loss of true identity as individuals conform to societal expectations. In the fourth stanza, so I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces like dresses, home face, office face, straight face, host face, cocktail face, with other conforming smiles, like a fixed portrait smile. If a person is wearing a mask, it can hinder in identifying his true identity. So the speaker in this poem wearing different faces in different places. Another symbolism is the speaker and a child. The speaker represents the old generation. He speaks to his son. A child represent the young generation. So in this poem, Once Upon a Time, reflects the changes made in social behaviors and culture along with the loss of innocence. Another is the storyline. This poem talks about the deteriorating state of our society. People pretend to be nice when they do not feel any actual friendliness in their heart. Society forces us to put on fake smiles and deceive people. The poem explores the speaker's longing to return to a time of innocence and genuineness. It delves into the conformity and pretense prevalent in society, highlighting the loss of authenticity and the need to rediscover true selves.
My name is Bella Flor Imhalasan, and this is the continuation from the elements of poetry. So the next is we have mood. So from the poem, the mood of the from the poem that we read is the mood of the poem varies starting with the nostalgia and yearning, then shifting to frustration and criticism towards societal expectations. Ultimately, it ends on a hopeful note, encouraging individuals to break free from societal pressures. So, nostalgia, it means sentimental longing. So, that's that's the mood in the poem. So we have tone. The tone shifts throughout the poem from nostalgic and contemplative to critical and rebellious. So it conveys both the sadness and frustration of the speaker towards the loss of authenticity in the world around them. So as I said before, that nostalgic, it is the sentimental or exhibiting feelings. Okay, next. So we have poetic devices. Poetic devices from the poem is Okara employs various poetic devices such as repetition, alliteration, imagery, and metaphor to evoke emotions and enhance the overall meaning of the poem. So the next is poet's choice of words. So from the poem that we read is the poet uses words that emphasize the contrast between the past innocence and the present conformity. The word example words like sudden, afraid, dog, hastening, strangers, bitterly. So these are the chosen to create vivid images to and convey the speaker's feelings effectively.
Good day, everyone. Here I am to discuss my part on a reporting about the poem Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. The first being the poetic devices of the poem. Okara employs various poetic devices such as repetition, imagery, and metaphor. First, on repetition, he employs repetition to emphasize the theme of lost innocence and the contrast between the past and the present. The repeated phrase "once upon a time" serves as a nostalgic refrain, inviting the reader to reflect on a bygone era. Now on to alliteration. Throughout the poem, Okara used alliteration to create a musical quality and draw attention to specific words and images. Next being imagery. Okara's skillful use of imagery in Once Upon a Time paints vivid pictures of the past and the present. The poem's description conjures powerful mental images, allowing readers to visualize the societal changes he is addressing. And next being metaphor. Metaphorically, Okara employs the image of the mask and mirrors to symbolize the facade and superficiality of modern life. This metaphor underscores the poem's central theme of lost authenticity and the longing for a simpler, more genuine existence. Now, these poetic devices were used to invoke emotion and enhance the overall meaning of the poem. Now, next is that of the poet's choice of words. The poet uses words that emphasize the contrast between the past innocent and present conformity. By carefully selecting these words and phrases, Okara creates vivid images and emotions in the poem, allowing readers to connect with the speaker's sense of nostalgia, regret, and frustration. These words serve as a powerful tool in conveying the central theme and feelings explored in Once Upon a Time. And then we talk about the poem's structure. The poem is divided into several stanzas composed of short, fragmented lines. The use of short, fragmented lines mirrors the fragmented thoughts and emotions of the speaker. It conveys a sense of confusion, disconnection, and inner turmoil that results from the loss of innocence and the pressure to conform. The structure helps to emphasize the speaker's fragmented thoughts and emotions as well as the disjointment nature of contemporary society. In essence, the poem's structure is not just stylistic choice, but a deliberate artistic device used by Gabriel Okara to reinforce the themes of nostalgia, conformity, and social disintegration. It immerses the reader in the speaker's inner turmoil and underscores the profound impact of the poem's message. Here ends my part on the report. Thank you and God bless.
So let's proceed to the ethos, practices, and values. So some of the ethos or practices or values that distinguish an African, their fears and sentiments, and their positive disposition to face realities in their life. So first is the value of sincerity and honesty in expressing one's emotions and feelings. The speaker contrasts the genuine laughter and handshake of the past with the fake and cold ones of the present. It means that in the past, the people would express their emotions and feelings with genuine laughter and handshakes. These interactions were sincere and honest, reflecting the true emotions and intentions of the individuals involved. The speaker may be reminiscing about a time when people were more authentic in their expressions, when they didn't feel the need, the need to put on a facade or hide their true feelings. However, in the present, the speaker suggests that things have changed. They observe that laughter and handshake have become fake and cold. Next is the fear of losing one's identity and culture in the face of westernization and globalization. The speaker implies that the change in people's behavior is a result of adapting the Western ways of greeting and interacting, which are superficial and insincere. The speaker is highlighting the potential negative consequences of westernization and globalization on cultural identity. They are implying that the change in behavior and expressions is a reflection of the influence of Western culture, which they perceive as a threat to their own cultural heritage. And the last is the positive disposition to face realities in their life with courage and hope. The speaker does not give up on his dream of relearning how to laugh and smile once upon a time. So the speaker acknowledged that at some point in the past they were able to laugh and smile freely. However, for some reason, they have lost this ability. Despite this setback, the speaker remains hopeful and determined to regain their ability to experience joy. And by expressing their desire to relearn how to laugh and smile, the speaker demonstrates their courage and resilience.